The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamiapsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, the ultimate weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to run you through the entertainment media we've consumed during the week. Along the way, we'll provide you with insightful commentary and reviews. This week I'm joined by a teacher who lists their favourite movie as the entire Harry Potter series and favourite TV show as Parks and Rec. Welcome back to the show, Leigha Poulton.
Hi, happy to be here.
How's everything over your way?
Yeah, pretty good. Although we were in 2 weeks lockdown.
That's right, you just finished that.
Yeah, we went to a lovely lunch and someone else came from overseas and we ended up being in lockdown for 2 weeks. So that wasn't that fun.
Fantastic. How was the lockdown? What did you do?
I worked still, I did a lot of work, which was good because it kept me busy. But yeah, just exercised, schoolwork, tried to do as much as possible. We did a paint by numbers at one point, tried not to drink too much, but we did.
Try to keep Sean entertained in any way possible, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was pretty busy. He was working his normal hours, just working from home.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of good because otherwise he would just go insane. It was the weekends that were the hardest.
Yeah, when neither of you had work, but you also couldn't do anything either.
Exactly. We just did a lot of board games and stuff.
Especially Sean, who, his weekends, that's where he goes out and he plays soccer or he plays golf. That's when he is actually out doing stuff. He's not one of those people that just sits at home.
That's right. Yeah, he struggles to sit still, so that was difficult. We did a few workouts together, so that was good. Try and get the energy out.
How did Sean find that? I'm assuming yoga and Pilates and stuff?
He did actually a hip hop workout with me. It was quite entertaining. I almost wet my pants. He was doing some hip hop moves, cardio stuff. It was awesome. But we got it. Sean's mum dropped us up an exercise bike.
Okay, yep.
So that was good for me to just tick over some Ks on that out in the balcony, which was nice.
Yeah, nice. How did Piper go as well?
Piper loved it. She was like, Mum and Dad are home. We still managed to drop her outside and people would pick her up and take her for a walk because it's just not fair to have her in there for that long. So she still got to go outside.
Yeah, 2 full weeks for a puppy stuck indoors would drive them mental.
Exactly. So she still got to walk around but she just loved having us home.
I saw she's been going to puppy daycare as well.
Yeah, she loves her daycare. It's the best thing ever. She's such a child. They have jumping castles. They have birthday parties.
They have hoses that apparently she's a big fan of.
Yeah, she loves a hose. They also watch a movie in the middle of the day. They watch Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, God.
And have a nap. It's the cutest ever.
I could not put a dog movie on with Toby.
Yeah.
Anytime there's dogs on TV, he stares at them for about a minute and a half and then decides, I need to howl at these dogs.
All right.
And just howls at the TV.
No, Piper loves it. The other day we left her home by herself for a while, so I put on YouTube for dogs. Obsessed. She just sat there just watching TV.
Nice.
And it goes for 8 hours, and it's just dogs running around the park, and she thinks she's doing it. It's so cute.
She's a funny one.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of that, I assume you've watched a few things as well.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit, definitely. We're still we haven't finished Vampire Diaries yet. We kind of got over it.
One of those problems.
We're on the last season, and we just can't sit down to concentrate on it.
There are a lot of seasons of that, isn't there? 8 or 9 or something?
8. I think there's 8. So we're on that final one, and we're kind of we should keep watching, but
12 episodes or something a season. or more?
Oh, no, it's more. They're like 24.
Oh, 20. And they're closer to hour-long episodes too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really long. And because there's so much going on, you can't really, like, zone out.
Ugh.
You need to, like, listen. And so I think we've just, like, swamped ourselves too much with the Vampire Diaries. We just need to have a break. We have to have a break and come back.
Yeah, that's a lot. We're doing the rewatch of Dexter.
Okay, yeah, you said that.
We punched out the first 2 seasons really quickly, but then since then we've slowed right down, so we're watching it in between other things, and we've just finished the 4th season, so now we're going to start something else, watch a season of just anything else, and then come back to do the 5th season so that we don't do that and burn out on one thing.
You definitely can get burnout.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Vampire Diaries, I watched a movie that stars Ryan Quanten.
Okay.
Who is in True Blood, which isn't quite Vampire Diaries, but similar. Vampires still. Still vampires, but very different show, I guess. So I watched 2067. It's a new Australian movie that's now on Netflix.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, stars Ryan Quanten, who is famous for his roles in Home and Away and True Blood. And then he stars alongside an actor by the name of Cody Smith-McPhee, who is most notable for his work as Nightcrawler in the most recent 2 X-Men movies. And he's in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as well. In this movie, these 2 characters they live in the year 2067. At this time, all plant life on Earth has become extinct, and obviously that has drastic implications for the world as a whole, because without plants you have no oxygen.
Fair enough.
So the only way to survive on this version of Earth is through synthetic oxygen, which over time is gradually causing this deadly disease, which they refer to as the sickness.
Okay.
And it's basically just people rejecting the synthetic oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get past this problem, Ethan White, who's played by Cody, his wife is one of the people that gets sick, so when the company that produces the oxygen asks him to go through this weird time machine that they have that has sent a message back to them saying, send Ethan, he's like, right, I'll do it, because it might save my wife.
Oh.
That was the thought I had too when I saw the trailer and the description. I was like, this could be good.
Yeah.
It's not. It is not good.
It's not good.
It is not good. The acting is pretty bad.
Okay.
The storyline just is confusing as all heck.
Right.
It's a sci-fi movie, obviously, and one has all these weird time things where it's like, what's happening? Like, did he send himself? What? All of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I paid pretty close attention, and even I finished the movie, I was like, I don't know what happened there.
Confusing.
Yeah, so it's got all these really lofty goals of, this could be this really cool Australian sci-fi movie, and they just don't meet any of it. Like,
right.
The trailer, the premise all sounds awesome, but then the ending is just like flat and confusing, and I just finished it and I was like, oh, that's 2 and a bit hours I'm never getting back.
Yeah, so not one to check out.
No, skip that one. Sad to say, but yeah, Australian movie that just didn't live up to expectations. And I also, while I was watching, I'm sitting there thinking, hang on a second, if there's no plants, which in this situation that causes no oxygen, if there's no plants though, there's nothing to eat either. Yeah.
That would make sense, because the animals would die.
So they'd have to resort to cannibalism, and there's only so many people you can eat.
Yuck.
So they would have died no matter what. I was just like, oh.
Pointless. Bit pointless.
Skip 2067.
Okay.
It's kind of like 2020. Just skip it.
Just skip it. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It didn't happen. Doesn't count.
But you watched something on Netflix that was a little bit better, I think.
I did. I watched, not Netflix. I watched on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I watched Mulan.
The remake one?
Yes.
What did you think?
I actually really liked it. I did enjoy it. So I definitely think the Disney version's better because I am obsessed with that song, Be a Man, da, na, na, na. And it was like funny, do you know what I mean? So this is definitely a more serious film, not as like joyful as what you would watch in the Disney animation version.
Yeah, it's still a kids movie, but it's definitely twisted a little bit more adult. Like, I think they've realised that there are people your age and my age that enjoyed that original one. So let's make Let's make a version that they can still watch and enjoy.
Yeah, and I mean, like it was really good. There was some graphics, special effects that I was like, oh, that wasn't very good. Mm-hmm. Like, there's this bit where she walks down like off the roof and she like jumps over and just looks really badly fake.
Yep.
And I was like, come on, Disney, like you can definitely do that better.
Yeah, Disney definitely have the money to splash on that. Like, make it look awesome. You can afford it. Come on, Disney.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of was like, oh, and I thought that was at the start, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be very good. But it got better as the film went on. The costumes are amazing, absolutely, like really cool. I missed the musical aspect. I wish that was in there, but like the fight scenes and just the scenery and stuff was really good to watch. It was a good film, for sure.
Yeah, it's like an epic war movie that kids can watch without getting damaged.
Scared. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, there was still some, like, bits that I was like, whoa. But definitely something that you could watch with the kids, and I enjoyed it. Sean enjoyed it. He watched it with me, so he wasn't very happy. He's like, I don't want to watch this, but after it, that was actually really good.
Yeah.
So the acting's really good, and, yeah, I just liked the film because it was, like, a visual spectacular.
Yeah, and I watched it when it was on that premiere access.
Okay.
Which they're doing for another movie coming up, Raya and the Last Dragon. I'm pretty sure that's premiere access this week.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I watched Mulan when that happened, and I'd never seen the original, so for me this was really cool.
You need to go back and watch the original, Absy.
I know, Buddy told me this too, but I haven't done that yet.
You need to. It's like so good.
There's so much stuff on Disney now.
Yeah, I know, but this is like actually a really good movie. Like one of the I reckon that's probably one of the best
remakes that they've done.
Disney movies, and their song. No, but like the songs in the original, I like the best.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're the ones that I remember.
It's definitely one of their better remakes too.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was a really good film, and I like to see like the whole like Chinese dynasty, and I think that's really cool.
I think that's why this one worked so well. They didn't just do. Like, if you go and watch those other remakes, they've just done basically beat for beat what the original was. This one, they've sort of...
Yeah.
They've changed little elements of it, so I did like it as well.
Definitely.
But yeah, like, as I said, there's just so much stuff on Disney now that they've added Star.
Yeah, the adult...
We started watching, there's a show on there called Big Sky. We literally started that this afternoon, so...
Okay.
Further updates on that in the coming weeks, but... Yeah, there's just like that. There's WandaVision, Mandalorian. There's about to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. Disney Plus is looking pretty valuable at the moment. There's just so much cool stuff. There's always new Marvel and Star Wars stuff coming. So if you're into that thing, those sort of things, and now that there's Star, there's stuff for if you're not into those things. There's, I think Desperate Housewives is on there. Gossip Girl, I think maybe. There's a heaps of stuff like that.
Gossip Girl. My favourite.
Scrubs is on there. I know Scrubs is on there.
I did like Scrubs.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff on there. Like, I looked through it, like when it first dropped, I was like, there is so much on here. Die Hard's on there. We can go and watch Die Hard for the first time.
That's cool.
Since neither of us have watched it yet.
No, I haven't.
And the other movie I watched this week was called I Care a Lot on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's a American thriller from last year. Stars Rosamund Pike, who has been in Gone Girl and Jack Reacher.
Love Jack Reacher.
Also has Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And Diane Wiest, who's been in tons of stuff. Law and Order, Edward Scissorhands, The Lost Boys. And this movie is all about this lady played by Rosamund Pike, she's a state-appointed legal guardian but she's dodgy.
Oh.
So what she does is she goes and finds all of these elderly people that might not have family or little to no family, and gets a dodgy doctor to sign off on this person can no longer look after themselves. They have nobody that is willing to look after them. So you need to assign this woman to look after them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she does that, what she does is immediately gets them put into aged care homes and sells off all of their assets and empties their bank accounts and whatever to pay for the basic packages at these aged care homes, and then the extra money that's left over uses that to sort of pay herself and skims off the top.
Nasty woman.
It's messed up. Like, you watch and go, can this actually happen? I don't want this to happen to my family.
Yeah, I bet it does happen though.
I'm sure it does. What ultimately happens though is she crosses paths with the wrong woman.
Okay.
So she gets appointed as Diane Weist's character as her legal guardian. Turns out though that Diane Weist is not who she appears to be at first. She's related to some really high level Russian gangster played by Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
And then when he finds out what she has done to his mother, he goes on a tear. He's trying to destroy everything she's ever worked for. He's trying to kill her and her partner.
Wow.
Just gets crazy out of hand. And fun one, like all these little twists, and you're like, this is messed up. How can this get any more crazy? And then it gets crazier.
It gets crazier.
Not overly complex. Like, you can sort of just put it on. You don't need to be focused too much on... There's no sort of subtle hints as to what's happening. It's all pretty obvious what's going to happen.
Okay.
The performances are really good. Rosamund Pike and Peter Dinklage both do fantastic. The ending is a little bit like, oh, that's how it ended. Okay.
Right.
Like it all sort of, it builds really slowly, and then the last like half hour just feels really rushed.
Okay.
And then it just ends and you're like, oh, okay. Did we need the hour and a half in the middle?
Probably not.
If you have Amazon Prime, I recommend checking that one out as a decent weekend movie to watch.
Okay.
And now, a quick word from our sponsors. This week's episode of The Commentary Booth is brought to you by LF9 Designs. Are you in need of a new logo, event poster, Twitch overlays or emotes, or even merchandise designs? Look no further than LF9 Design. For all of your graphic needs, the team there can create anything you need to suit all of your styles. Contact Luke at lf9design@gmail.com or follow them over on Instagram at lf9design. Our second sponsor this week is CR Swim. Swim smart and swim fast. CR Swim provides top-level coaching for swimmers of all levels competing in all aspects of the sport. They focus on providing technique support, swimming efficiency coaching, and energy systems training to help you be the best swimmer you can possibly be. Check them out over on Facebook at CR Swim Squad or on Instagram at CR_swim. And then you were watching a documentary or something on Netflix?
I did watch Cecil Hotel.
Okay, yep. Yeah, Blake and I spoke about this last week.
Yeah. I mean, it's complicated. I haven't listened to the last week's episode yet, but I would say the first, like, it's a really interesting story for sure, which I don't go into if you've already covered it. But I just don't know how I feel about all of these internet sleuths and the documentary engaging in their conspiracy theories.
Exactly. That was my issue as well.
Yeah, I just don't know how that is okay. When you're speaking about a victim that died, we shouldn't be, sensationalizing.
And died recently, like not that long ago.
Exactly. And then I just don't know. I don't like it. That's how I felt.
And I didn't like the way it was framed either.
Right.
Like those first two episodes frame it as something much more sinister and creepy, like supernatural maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
And then once it twists and goes more factual, you're like, oh, that's all that happened. Like, it's sad, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not a sensational story. It's just like, oh, people commit suicide.
Yeah, they do. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of true crime podcasts speak about it. And I don't know. It is an interesting story, and I can see where all these conspiracy theories come about because her behaviour is so strange. But yeah, it's just a sad story, really.
Yeah.
She's so vulnerable. And that hotel is so notorious.
Yeah, like I was saying to Blake last week, I stayed in LA, in downtown LA. Mm-hmm. Thankfully not at the Cecil because it had shut down by the time I went there, but I was maybe a kilometre and a half away.
Okay.
And I went to the last bookstore.
Right.
Which was the last place she was seen, so that was fun to watch that pop up on a documentary about someone disappearing in those first 2 episodes where you're like, this is creepy.
I've been there.
I was like, I've been there. I really enjoyed that place. Now it's kind of creeping me out a bit.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a weird one. You watch it, you're like, I enjoyed watching that, but I
just felt conflicted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that they sort of focus on those internet sleuths and how crazily attached they got.
Yeah, they basically debunked the investigation.
Yep, and you can't be a proper investigator if you are that emotionally involved. Like, that's
100%.
That is what detectives do. They have to stay emotionally disconnected for a reason.
Yes.
Because then you can't see the facts properly if you get that connected to it.
Exactly. You just go off on a tangent and think that the one theory that you have is true. Like, you need to debunk everything.
Yep. And like when the internet sleuths were like, oh, this tape has all these weird anomalies in it, and then the police were just like, no, we intentionally cut parts out and put parts in there because we didn't want to reveal certain aspects to the public for a reason.
Exactly. And that's their right. Like, they're allowed to do that. And then people just honed into that.
Yeah, and just tried to make it like the police were in on it and did something suspect. I was like, no, they did their job properly.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about the hotel. Like, when I saw Cecil Hotel, I was like, I kind of want to know a little bit more about all the different things that went on there. Yeah,
that's what I would have liked too. Where if they'd just focused, if they'd done a more factual based documentary, cut those first 2 crazy conspiracy episodes out.
Yeah.
And just done a documentary on the hotel and all the past of the hotel. Like, people have died there, this happened. Like, that would have been cooler, I think.
Active serial killers were like living in there.
Yeah, in particular the Night Stalker, who's another documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, the next topic I wanted to chat about.
Okay.
The Night Stalker. The Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer. So it's a documentary released by Netflix this year. And it focuses on Richard Ramirez, I'm pretty sure his name was.
Creepy man.
Who was just, terrible. Killed heaps of people.
Yes, he did.
They've got him listed here in Night Stalker crimes, 18 different crimes.
Oh, God.
Which is ridiculous. Breaking into people's houses and murdering them and all sorts of messed up stuff. Cut someone's throat so deeply that they were nearly decapitated.
Yuck.
And just didn't care. And I just love that the way that they caught him was through the shoes he wore.
Right.
So he bought these specific brand of, I think they were Asics shoes and a specific model. And when they got a shoe print from outside one of the houses, they did the cast of the shoe print, put it through their database. It came back as, okay, it's this specific shoe. Then they looked at where that shoe could be purchased. They're like, how many of this shoe got shipped from manufacture to America? Okay, this many. How many came to California? Okay, like 8. There was literally only 8 went to California, and only 1 pair went to LA.
That's amazing.
So literally all they had to do was find where that box, that 1 pair of shoes went, which store it went to, and then they could track him from there, and then that's how they ended up catching him.
That's amazing, isn't it? Smart people.
That's a big brand name, like Asics shoes. You would expect there'd be more than one of that shoe in the whole of LA.
Exactly, yeah, you would.
So unlucky for him, but yeah, gotcha.
Go team.
So yeah, that's a much better documentary, I think, than the crime scene one, the Cecil Hotel.
Okay.
Because
yeah,
it is a bit more focused. 4 or 5 episodes, so
okay.
it's not overly long, but yeah, it's much more detailed.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out.
And focusing on him and the specific crimes and how they ended up catching him. So that one's, I'd recommend that over The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel for anybody that's tossing up between the two.
Okay.
And then you had one last thing, which is, from the sounds of it, just one of those ones where you want something easy to just chuck on at the end of a hard day.
Yes, I love Gogglebox. It's just the best. Do you watch it?
I watch it every now and then, like, if I turn the TV on, it's on, I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever, let's just chuck this on. Or if, like, I don't want to start an hour episode of something, I'm like, oh, I'm going to chuck Gogglebox on, and then if I get tired, I can turn it off. It's not like I'm missing anything crazy.
Anything, yeah. I mean, like, the thing for me, when I first heard about this whole concept of, like, watching people watch TV, I was like, what? That sounds so dumb.
It does. It sounds
I don't want to watch
terrible.
this.
Like, why?
It literally sounds like the worst idea ever, but it's just so good because I don't have a lot of time, really, so I don't get to watch a lot of things. I don't watch the news at all, ever. And Gogglebox for me is like a kind of like light-hearted way of like watching what's going on in the world. And they review things that I probably would never watch.
Yep.
So you get like a really big array of like different shows that are on like SBS and things like that I would never think to turn on.
Yeah, I can't think of any examples in particular, but I've definitely found shows
from there
through Gogglebox where I'm like, oh, that actually sounds pretty cool. I'm going to go watch an episode of that at least and see if I enjoy it.
Yeah. Or the best part is they just show you the highlights really on Gogglebox. So you don't even have to really watch it. You're like, okay, well, that's the main points. Do you know what I mean? Like you kind of go, okay, great.
Yeah, especially, for a show like Survivor or something, they show you the main bits that you needed to see for the week.
Exactly. So you're like, perfect. I've caught up. So I really like that. And I just love the families on there. It's a really diverse cast. They're on to their 13th season now.
Wow, has it been on that long?
Yeah. Yeah, they're on episode 2 of season 13. Yeah. So they're definitely doing well. And yeah, I just really I love the Indian family. I forget their names, but he makes me laugh. He drinks wine like every night and he goes, woohoo! And he just gets drunk and it just makes me smile. It's the best. And yeah, I've really enjoyed watching it just to chuck on and like have a laugh and catch up with what's going on. And I have to say, I've been scrolling on Facebook lately and the UK version comes on. I actually love it. It's really funny. They just have like the funniest outlook.
Yeah, I've never watched the UK one, but I've only ever watched the Australian one. But I'm assuming it's very similar where they've just cast crazy, wacky families and you get weird different takes on things.
Definitely. And yeah, they're kind of funny. There's this one like best friend couple and they just give each other everything. But I have to say my favourite couple is Lee and Keith. Have you heard about them?
On the Australian one or the UK one?
On the Australian version.
Are they...
They're just so Aussie. I just love it.
Is that the like older lady and the bald guy that always wears the blue singlet?
Singlets, yep. And he has his beer every night.
Yep, they are the most Aussie couple of all time.
Yeah, and they're so in love, but it's just funny. They just make me laugh.
Yeah, like you can tell they're in love, but they also are like, they just give each other so much crap.
Exactly. Like, I think that's their love language. We'll just tease the shit out of each other and annoy the shit out of each other.
I enjoy the flatmates, the two like younger guys as well. They remind me so much of when I lived with Buddy and Davis. Yeah,
I did love. Are you talking about the new ones? He has not the redhead boys.
No, I don't think I haven't watched the newest couple of seasons.
Yeah, they're gone now. The ones that you're talking about.
Oh, damn it!
They were the best. They were really funny. Yeah, they were awesome. So they've replaced them with another too, which I don't find as funny, but
They tried to find people similar and it just didn't quite work as well.
yeah, I'm just like, nah, you're not as good as them. just don't.
You can't go for the same stereotype when you need to replace people like that. You need to just be like,
Totally different.
let's just find the next two funniest people. Like, let's not specifically go in being like, okay, we need two roommates.
Exactly.
Let's just find two funny people or a funny family. Like,
Yeah.
I guess they were trying to like hit those key demographics, I suppose.
Definitely. I mean, I really like the old couple too, the Artie couple. God, they're funny.
Oh God, I like watching them, but they drive me nuts.
I know what you're going to say. They do. They drive me nuts too, but I'm also like, I actually kind of love it. She watches the trash TV because they obviously have to watch whatever they've been told to watch. She's like, oh my God, I need a wine.
Yeah.
I cannot watch this. It's just so funny.
She just rips on anything that's not like higher culture.
Exactly. And then the other family that I enjoy is the three women, like the daughter, the mum, and the older grandmother.
Yep.
God, they're funny. They just talk about sex all the time.
Yep.
And
and you can tell their grandmother's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's just sitting there like, oh my God, why these are my daughters. What are they doing?
I created this. Oh dear.
And I like the family with the two young girls, like the teen girls.
Yeah, they're actually lovely. He loves them so much. I watched the last episode. There was like a TV show on about daughters, and he just started crying. And then they're like giving him so much crap. They're like, Dad, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Stop.
Yeah, stop it, Dad. Jesus.
No, they're nice.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of getting sort of everybody involved. Like, anybody can watch this and relate to at least someone on that show or a family on that show.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind being on that show, like, just because it looks so fun. Like, every week they're just like, here's a DVD, set this camera up, watch whatever.
Yeah, I could be good. I don't know if I could go on there because I'm sure Sean would swear too much for us to be on it, but...
Yeah, they'd be cutting a lot out, I think.
Yeah.
You'd get like one little snippet on every episode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the one snip we can use from them. Okay, that'll have to do.
Exactly.
Have they caught up with like COVID and everything in the most recent season?
Yeah, I mean, they don't really talk about it. I feel like their outlook is more like we don't want to bring a negative. Do you know what I mean? So I haven't really talked about it much, but they have had like some Melbourne people talk about being in lockdown and...
Okay, so yeah, like light references to it without being...
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, like they kind of need it to be like that too, because if they really focus... Like if they focused on sort of major news things like that, the show would get real dated real quick.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to watch it within that first season where it comes out. You couldn't... Like even now, we could go back and watch season 4 or 5 and some of that stuff would be weird, but most of it would be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Sean and I hadn't watched the last 2 seasons, so we've actually been going back and watching it. It's still funny to watch because you're there
for the characters, not so much for the show.
Exactly.
So what is your top recommendation for the week?
I would say Milan. I think it's a good movie. Definitely go check it out.
Yep. In terms of sort of documentaries, I would say mine is The Night Stalker, but if you just want something a little bit less full on, a little bit more lighthearted, watch I Care a Lot. Just as a sort of a little sneak peek, we're approaching 1 year of the commentary booth.
Woohoo.
We are going to be doing our best and worst of 2020, or the year that has been. So that will be coming up in a few weeks. I know Leah's got a couple of choices, and I think for anybody that's listened to our episodes, they're going to know what my worst was. I think I railed on it pretty hard. And then other than that, the magazine should be hitting the streets this week, if not next week, all depending on the printer, but they've said I should have them by Thursday, so that's fun. And then thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at Jamie Apps Media. You can follow the magazine at Pario Magazine. And you can follow Leigha on Instagram at l.poulton, Poulton. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our new magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people have supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.